Every single day, your brain lies to you. Not because it's trying to hurt you, but because it's trying to protect you. It tells you you're failing. It tells you people secretly hate you. It makes you believe that everybody else has life figured out, while you somehow are falling behind. But none of these thoughts are necessarily true. So our brains are fantastic, but they're not designed to show us reality exactly the way it is. They're designed to help us survive. That means that they rely on shortcuts, assumptions, and mental habits that were useful thousands of years ago. But they can create a lot of unnecessary anxiety today. Today, we're going to look at the 7 psychological tricks that your brain is playing on you and what you can do about it. Hey everyone, if you don't know who I am, my name is Anna. I am a graduate psychology student and I currently work with veterans as a therapist trainee. So let's get into it. The first one is confirmation bias. This is the easiest one to grasp and understand. So imagine you're texting a friend and you don't receive an answer for a couple of hours, maybe even days. So no response. Your brain immediately thinks they're mad at me. They don't like me anymore. I did something wrong. And suddenly you start replaying all the conversations you guys had the past week. Maybe they're upset at the joke I made. Maybe I said something wrong in that specific conversation. They've been acting a little bit differently lately. They don't want me as a friend anymore. In that moment, notice what your brain is doing. It's acting like a detective, but only collecting those information or the evidence that supports the conclusion that it already made, which is they hate me, they're mad at me, and it's not trying to find the evidence against that. And that is confirmation bias. It's our tendency to notice, remember, and interpret information in ways that confirm what we already believe. So if you already believe that people don't like you, then your brain is going to find all the evidence that suggests that people don't like you. Meanwhile, your friend may be just driving, taking a nap. Maybe they are so busy at work. Or maybe they opened the message while they were busy at the grocery store or doing something, and then they forgot about it. They completely forgot about it. And so it's left on red. And we all have done that, right? So what can you do about it? So the next time you find yourself thinking that way, catastrophizing, what you can do is bring logic into it. So try to find evidence against that negative thought. What is another explanation that is just as possible? And that one question can make your interpretation of the situation very differently. Number 2, negativity bias. So imagine 100 people compliment you that day, or 100 people leave a positive comment on your video. And then there is that one person that maybe criticized you or left a negative comment on your video or your post, wherever it is. Guess what your brain is going to replay over and over and over again to itself? Obviously, the negative one, and that is negativity bias. Unfortunately, our brains pay more attention to negative experiences rather than positive experiences. Why? Because thousands of years ago, that functioned for our survival. Because missing one dangerous threat could mean your death, literally. Evolution rewarded the brains that remembers danger more than pleasurable activities. And the problem is that our brain still operates that way. So unfortunately, one negative interaction can overshadow all the positive interactions you had that day. I mean, it happens to all of us all the time. Let's say you had a tremendous, beautiful day, you hanged out with your friends, you talked to your family, and then one person at the supermarket or at the gym, wherever you are, is being rude to you. That one single interaction can make your whole day, like from being an extremely positive day to a very negative one. So what can we do to counteract that? The first step is to be aware of it. Aware that our brain tries to look for negativity and emphasizes on negative experiences rather than positive ones. The second one is, again, challenge those thoughts, reflect on it, and think about it. Well, today actually I had a great day. I spent time with my friends, called my family, And then, sure, I had that one negative interaction, but it was just one compared to all the positive ones I had. The same things with the comments or the criticism. Try to find the evidence against that negativity bias and bring logic into it. Because once we do that, we realize, oh, my brain is literally tricking me. It is not true that I receive criticism all the time. It is not true that I have negative interactions with people all the time. It is quite the opposite, but my brain likes to remember the negative ones more than the pleasurable ones. Third one, the spotlight effect. Have you ever walked into work with a tiny stain on your shirt? Or maybe with a new pimple on your face. You're thinking, oh my gosh, everybody's staring at me. Or maybe you stumble over one word during a presentation and then your brain replays the moment over and over again for the next like couple of days, weeks, or maybe years, who knows. But here's the truth. People probably either didn't notice, won't remember, or won't care. And we call this the spotlight effect. We think that people are being like hawks, like looking at us. But in reality, everybody's thinking about themselves and about their own insecurities and their own new pimple on their face or stain on their shirt. So we dramatically overestimate how much other people notice our mistakes. Why? Well, because we live inside our own heads. There was actually a famous experiment where college students were asked to wear an embarrassing t-shirt in a room full of strangers. And the students predicted that at least half of the people will notice that they were wearing a very ridiculous t-shirt. In reality, only a fraction did. Everyone else was busy thinking about themselves, life, whatever. So the people you're worried they're judging you, they're probably judging themselves. They're too worried to think about anybody else but themselves. Number 4, imposter syndrome. Have you ever accomplished something and then you suddenly think, maybe I was just lucky? Soon everybody's going to realize that I have no idea what I'm doing. That is imposter syndrome. And everybody has it at one point in their life. And it usually affects very successful people. Scientists experience this all the time, actors, CEOs, professors, even therapists. But again, the more knowledgeable you become, more aware you become of everything that you do not know. And beginners often feel confident because they don't know how much they actually do not know, and they don't realize how much there is to learn. And experts, on the other hand, they understand the complexity of their field. So naturally, as time progresses, they become more humble and sometimes also more doubtful. So feeling uncertain doesn't mean that you're unqualified. You may just understand how much responsibility comes with what you're doing. So even just knowing the definition of imposter syndrome and why it happens can help you prevent you to go down that rabbit hole of feeling like you're not enough in what you're doing. Number 5, the illusion of control. Have you ever stayed awake until like 2, 4 a.m. in the morning, thinking through every possible future scenario? What if this happens? And then what if I do this? And then what if that other thing happens? But what if something goes wrong? It may feel productive at first, like, oh, I'm just like making sure I have a plan B or plan C if, something bad happens. But what you're actually doing is trying to prevent uncertainty because our brain loves certainty. Planning gives us that illusion or that comfort that we can prevent pain. And don't get me wrong, planning is amazing, is helpful, and everybody should plan their lives. I mean, not in a very meticulous, perfectionistic, unhealthy type of way, but planning is usually very good, but there is a line that you don't want to cross because eventually planning then becomes overthinking and then it becomes anxiety. The truth is you can prepare for life, but you cannot control everything. You can only control how you respond to a certain situation and what you can do next. You cannot control other people's behavior. You cannot control natural disasters. You cannot control the economy. And so we need to come to acceptance of that. We cannot control everything because if we start believing and if we really want to control every single aspect of our life, we start going crazy. Like we start getting overwhelmed with anxiety at that point that paralyzes you. So acceptance is the key here. Just accept the fact that you can only control yourself and not others, and you cannot prevent certain events from happening. Number 6, social comparison. You open Instagram, YouTube, TikTok, LinkedIn, whatever social media app is now trending. Within seconds, you probably see someone getting engaged, being pregnant, becoming pregnant, having children, getting a new house, traveling, you name it. So it starts to feel like everybody's succeeding except for you, especially when you see people your own age doing things that you have not done yet. But remember this, when those automatic thoughts are popping up, remember that Instagram, social media, whatever, that is not real life. And people really do portray the best of their lives. And sometimes I also wonder, why are people doing that? Like, why people put their lives, literal lives, on social media? Probably it's because of validation. Sometimes, sure, they like to share with their friends, I understand. But when it becomes every single little aspect of your life that is on social media, it's because you either want validation or you're so unhappy with what you have or maybe who you are that you need that external validation and people telling you, oh my God, your life is amazing. Obviously, it's not the case for everybody, but for many it is. And the problem with this is that it can actually ruin relationships because probably on the internet you see everybody being so happy and in love and they never argue and they're so cute together, and then you have arguments with your partner like maybe once a month or every other week and you're like, maybe I am not in the right relationship, or maybe I'm doing something wrong. Why is everybody so happy and they found their soulmates? Look, relationships are not easy. They're not. They're just not. But social media wants to make you believe that once you find your soulmate, everything is feels and it's going to be easier. That is a lie. Relationships are not easy. You have to work on relationships. It doesn't matter if it's an intimate relationship or a friendship or the relationship you have with your parents. You always have to communicate, have boundaries. Relationships are hard, but we do get better with time or over time. So the best comparison is not you with someone else random on the internet, but the best comparison is with yourself. It's between who you are today and who you were 6 months, a year ago, 6 years ago, 10 years ago. And that is the comparison that actually helps you grow and realize that maybe you're doing something right with your life. Or maybe you're doing something wrong and you realize, oh my gosh, what the fuck did I do these past 10 years? But hopefully that's not the case. Okay, last but not least, number 7, the happiness trap. One of the biggest tricks that your brain plays is, I'll be happy when I get the promotion, when I lose weight, when I find a partner, when I graduate, when I'll have more money. But you cannot wait to be happy on an external thing. You cannot wait to be happy once something happens, once you lose weight, once you start doing sports. You have to work on your happiness in the moment. You have to start in the moment. Because you know what happens once you actually reach that goal? Your brain is going to create a new problem. Oh, I'll be happy once I have children. And now you're like, oh my God, I'm so overwhelmed by the fact that I have children. And then your brain starts thinking, oh, I'll be happier when my children turn 18. No, you have to solve the issues that you have in the moment and not think, oh, I'll be happy when. And creating a problem after you reach a goal is called hedonic adaptation. So we're very good at adapting to positive changes. So that great new job that you got becomes normal and ordinary very quickly. And goals are very important because they actually give us purpose and they give us hope. But if you're always waiting for happiness to arrive, I mean, it's never gonna happen. It's never going to come that day once you're like, oh my gosh, once I have this thing, I'll be happy. No, because we're always creating problems anyway. So you have to find your happiness right now in the moment. So the goal is not to stop your brain from making these mistakes. The goal is to simply recognize them so that they don't make you suffer. Because again, the brain lies to us. So once we recognize and we're able to detect those lies, then we're able to be content with ourselves. So the next time your brain tells you that someone hates you, or that nobody likes you at your job, or that everybody else has life figured out, ask yourself, is this reality? Is this real? Or is it just a trick that my brain is playing? Like, what is the evidence against those negative thoughts? If you like this episode, put a like, subscribe, and leave a comment.